Hello. The frog has no real meaning, except that if there are a lot of people whose face looks like mine and you want to get back to this video and watch something in it again, the frog is a good place mark to remember where it is. Sorry about the peeping in the background. I hatched out a bunch of chicks there in a tub over here in the same room. So there'll be a little distraction during the video. Now my personality is I like to take problem situations and fix them. I'll give you an example of a problem situation that I fixed for Sovereign Man in Chile, Santiago, Chile. In the seminar that we had there, the very first day, after we left, we had our lunch there and then we took off, we left after that. I was the last person out of the room amongst all of us. And I noticed that all of the staff there in the hotel looked confused. They looked like they weren't sure what they were supposed to do, kind of wandering around talking to each other, and nobody was doing anything. They weren't prepping for dinner. And I realized that if they didn't start cleaning things up soon, that we would be very late for the dinner. So I started picking a few things up, grabbed a few people, eventually had the whole staff there, the dining staff, organizing the tables, cleaning things up, prepping everything. And about 20 minutes before we were supposed to arrive, some manager, I assume, ran in, pulling on his jacket. His hair was all unkempt. He was sweaty. He was late and worried that he was late. And he looked around. He couldn't believe that everything was mostly done. And he talked to the people, and everyone pointed at me. They assumed that I was one of the staff and I was in charge of making sure things were done. The first day we had the Santiago, Chile seminar. When we had our dinner, it was on time because I made sure that it was on time. If there's a problem situation, I see one, I like to step in and fix a situation. Something else that happened in Chile as well, you can perhaps ask our favorite banker in Georgia, Tina, if she recalls how she registered and signed up a lot of people for their bank accounts there in Chile. I was sitting at the same table as Tina, 10 feet away maybe, listening to her explanation on how to fill out the bank forms. She had a huge line of people behind, or standing there in line to get their bank forms done, well over 100 people. And she was swamped with work. Well, I sat off to the side, I listened to her explanation, talking to other people. I filled out all of my forms. And an elderly lady in her 80s, she had come with her daughter. She came up and she asked me, "Sonny, can you help me fill out my form?" It's like, "Come on over, ma'am, I'll help you fill out yours." So I explained how everything worked and helped her fill out her form. As I was explaining, Tina stopped a few times. She looked over at me and she kind of smiled because I was basically mimicking everything she was telling the other people. So after I finished most of the material that I could do personally with the lady, Tina stopped her line, took that lady over next in the front of her line and helped her finish her account. Some people, when they saw this, they shifted over and started asking me how to fill out their form. So I helped them fill out their forms. And as soon as I finished with them, again, Tina stopped the line, pulled the people that were waiting and whom I had helped over into her line and did them first. And when that happened the second time, the entire line shifted over, waiting for me. So I went through the first part of the form, and when I did as much as I could, I sent them over to Tina, and we went through 2 to 3 times faster. So I sat there with Tina for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and she was very happy, invited me to come to Georgia, and the bank would show me some select properties if I wanted to buy something, because they were very appreciative of me going out of my way to help them. Anyway, you might want to ask Tina, say, did you have somebody, your like assistant while you were there in Santiago, Chile? But that's what I like to do. I like to take a problem situation and I like to fix it. Actually, this video is a remake. I made one last night, but it went over 2 hours, and I know that's too long. I didn't want to overwhelm you with 2 hours of video. I am in Japan right now. I'm living in Japan, about half of the time. I move around a few other locations. I did attend your Santiago, Chile seminar. I had joined Sovereign Man Confidential shortly before that. And I wanted to go to Acapulco, but I wasn't able to physically at the time. Couple, 2-3 years ago, my secretary found a cat in a parking lot, just a newly born kitten. She took the kitten home with her and she took care of it for about 3 weeks, but it didn't make it. The little cat died. And so I was going with her in her tiny little Peugeot to a kitty cat funeral. And it was a rainy day that day, and some truck driver, I guess his foot slipped off the brake, stepped on the gas, and plowed right into the car. So for a couple of years, I haven't been able to walk, but I'm fine now. I can walk around. I've been walking now for a few months. I'm extremely flexible. If something needs to get done, if there's a problem situation, I love to solve it. I can't ignore those. For me, the whole world is an opportunity. I have irons in the fire on all types of things. I have, for years, I've worked with looking and trying to find the very best Mustang horse that I could. And I found one that's exceptionally good. I'm using that one, breeding it together with Olympic championship horses, because I think I can pull some characteristics from the wild Mustangs to enhance and boost the levels of those. Chickens, the chicks I've got here were hatched from a bizarre assortment of wild chickens that I got some of their eggs out in the wild. I hatched them, and I've been doing breeding programs and animal husbandry, things like that. I have land I bought out in Nevada, 240 acres straight out, another 2,500 I'm just buying on payments. But those I'm going to plant a forest in the desert. I want to. Well, I'm not going to keep it the entire time. I'll cut down parts of the forest, do a little bit of logging later, 20 years from now. It'll help pay for everything. But I'm involved in whatever I can be. I've got a book published. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble, Apple, iBooks, Smashwords, a few other locations, Rakuten in Japan. I'm working on some children's books. I have my school's classes here in Japan. I love to be involved in anything that I possibly can. If I am chosen as your 51st person there, or if you take me on as kitchen staff and allow me to be a fly on the wall, I can contribute a lot. Now, I don't go out of my way to try to be in charge or take control. I'm not one of those people. I stay in the background, and I only surface up. I'm only there when I'm needed. And when I'm needed, when there's a problem situation, when someone needs assistance, that's when I'm there. When there's an opportunity to be had, that's when I show up. I'm not the type of person who feels like they need to be there, be in charge, be in control. And I actually work a lot better with people who are considerably younger than me. The energy levels of people my age are dismal, and I drive them nuts. They say that they think I'm 17 years old because that's what my energy levels are like. Amazing as many times as I've been run over and knocked off buildings and crushed and things like that, but it doesn't seem to bother me much. If I'm chosen, I can be an asset. I will be flying to Lithuania a couple of days early, so I will be there. I'll probably find a youth hostel or something. I prefer youth hostels to hotels. Hotels are lonely and boring, and there's nothing to do. Youth hostels. I stayed in a youth hostel down in Chile, much nicer than the hotel. That was a fun place. So I'll look around to see if I can find a youth hostel. So I will be there in town, and if someone doesn't show up, I'm there. If you need some assistance in your kitchen, I'm already there in town. I'll be waiting there in town. I'll be at location. All I have to do is have someone send me a mail that says, come on up and this is where we are, and I'll show up. I can bring my sleeping bag. I can bring my backpack, but I will be there in Lithuania a couple of days before the Blacksmith Summit begins, and you can utilize me as you like. Oh, by the way, I owe you a chicken house plan. I spoke with one of your staff a couple of years ago, just before a big truck hit my secretary's Peugeot and messed me up, so I couldn't walk for a couple of years, and I had other things on my mind at that time. I had spoken with one of your staff about sending you a chicken house plan, something that would be better for how the nests were set up, so you could go from laying to setting on the eggs in case you had a setter move in for some reason. And I never got around to sending the plans. I'll have to dig around to see where they are. I do owe you a set of chicken house plans. I mentioned to your staff that I would send them. But I hope to see you in Lithuania and everybody else there. It would be great to be there. I love the energy that you guys have. I love the seminar in Chile. Wish I could have been in Acapulco as well. But I will be there in Lithuania. I'll be there in the town. You need extra help in the kitchen, you need assistance with anything, or you have a 51st spot, I will be there. I will be there, and I will stay there a day or two after the summit is over before I take off. I'll take off, come back to Japan. Then after that, I'll be taking a tour group from Japan to the United States. I do that a couple times a year as well. I spend about half of my time in Japan. The rest of the time I go to the United States or other places, always looking, trying to find something interesting to do. I do need to stop in Georgia and visit Tina, though I promised them that I would stop by and visit their bank. Thank you very much for watching this video. It has been edited down considerably from my 2-hour version of last night. And I hope to see you and all the other people there at the summit in Lithuania. I am in Fukuoka, Japan. We're just a fast boat ride away from Korea. And in case you or any of your participants need to get anything done in Japan, you need any information from Japan, need a place to stay in Japan, I can take care of that. It's not a problem for me. I have classroom locations, some that is one that's like a house and it's not used very much. And I've got one that's, yeah, it's a nice little house. I have it until October. If they want to come to Japan and hang out in Japan for a little bit, they've got a place where they can stay. If they need someone to show them around, hey, myself or my assistant, we can take them around, show them around in Japan. I can help people get residency visas here in case anybody would be interested in coming to Japan, which is a very, very bizarre place. As you mentioned once in one of your letters, it's the closest you could come to being on an alien planet. I love it here. But in case you or anyone else is interested in doing anything here in Japan, I'm in Fukuoka, the southern island of Kyushu, far away from the radiation up north. If anyone needs to have anything done, needs a contact in Japan, I am here. I will go ahead and when I put this video together, I'll put more contact information on the back. In case someone needs something, just tell them contact me. Thank you very much for tolerating my entire video. 51st spot, kitchen help, or backup in case you need something. I'll be there in Lithuania, in the town. And I hope to see you all there. Thanks. Bye.